Just give a +1 there, and Doom, take her away.
Pleasure Rifkin spawning lower right-hand corner of the map. He just took a game off of his opponent, staying alive, staying alive. It's Jjakji.
And his opponent, I have no good music for him, sadly. But that's okay, I probably couldn't sing it. Spawning Blue, Spawning Terran, it is Polt.
It's a Polt sponsored by CM Storm. Jjakji, of course, from Team NSOSO. And once again, Rifkin, we're seeing a TvT on Akalon Wastes.
I'm okay with this. This game, this whole series, Doom, everything leading up to it, we got to see a lot of Jjakji today, we got to see a lot of Polt today, but both of them coming together for the finals, I think a lot of people expected this to come. I wouldn't have been surprised if someone else had made it here, but I'm really glad we got both of these players here for the Zotac finals.
It's been a long road, hasn't it? About 5 hours this tournament's going on. These can turn into marathons at times, but both of these players well-versed in tournament formats, and both players going for relatively, actually completely similar openings. No 12-12 here from either player, so it's going to be curious to see when they decide to add on their first gases.
Yeah, nothing crazy for once out of anybody, but I say that, and of course, in before like 7 racks are thrown down in proxy locations or something crazy, but
No, they won't do that.
No, of course not. I'm just saying it's the Rifkin curse, right? When I start talking about one thing, everybody just hard right goes somewhere else with it.
They're doing the same build. So 12 racks, 15 gas, and this could lead into an early factory. It could lead into some type of economic command center play. Just a little bit safer to go for the refinery slightly later, and both players getting the Marines at roughly the same exact time. But Jjakji not morphing his orbital command, actually going for one more SCV, sneaking that out, opposed to Polt, who went directly for the orbital command. And Jjakji will see that.
People are talking about this and that in the economy. I personally just prefer getting the 16th SCV before you start doing. Sometimes the 17th, depending on when you start your barracks. But I mean, I kind of feel like the time lost while morphing can be quite beneficial if you've got that one extra SCV out. Not that it's game changing, but it's just my personal philosophy on it. Plus, the OCD is like, let it finish, let it finish, let it finish.
Well, reactor going down on both players' barracks. Jjakji not having to lift up his barracks as opposed to Polt, who did have to lift it up and place it to complete that wall off. And will Polt be placing down a command center as Jjakji has just done? Yes, he will, but he'll be making his on the low ground, whereas Jjakji has made his in the main base. So Polt will, although he's made it slightly lower, will benefit quicker from having his command center being dropped down where it is.
Imba, like in before the map's determined by this Imba spawn location, the barracks and the reactor positioning, right? Like you just bust through the reactor and charge through, versus you gotta actually kill the barracks to charge through.
You don't often take that into consideration with the maps, but it can be pretty significant. And considering the delays that you have with having to lift stuff up and place them down, and it can be a little frustrating. But have I been calling these players incorrectly? Yes, I've been calling Polt as the red player and Jjakji as the blue player.
It's
Polt
because
is actually the blue player and Jjakji is the red player.
It's because the Blizzard things, they correspond to player 1 and player 2 in the lobby, not the map spawn locations anymore. So, yeah, Polt's on the right side as far as name bar goes, but it's like, Jjakji is on that side of the map. I totally do that all the time.
But quick starport here out of Polt, and making a Widowmine off the bat. He's been loving these Widowmine drops, Rifkin, and I don't blame him. They're really, really effective.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, again, my favorite thing about the Widowmines is you're cost-effectively trading them for scans and force detection. We see Jjakji purposely going out of his way to not scan several games as well. Fuse are doing the exact same thing, but the reality is, it's kind of the easiest solution, but it's also the most cost-ineffective. So it's what you're willing to risk in order to deal with that drop.
Yeah, and as we saw both players opening up with relatively similar builds, we have now gotten pretty stark variations from this. Jjakji going for 2 Widowmines at a time, and did Polt actually scan to see that the factory is on that? No, he did not see that the factory is on that reactor. Once again, just a pixel away from the money shot.
Yeah.
But Jjakji's added on this 3rd command center, Rifkin, and this is another bold and incredibly strategic move from him. He's got his mining down quicker with building that command center on the low ground, and he saw in that last game the fact that that 3rd base really was what made the difference and brought him to victory.
Yeah, and it's just to address the comment here, people are saying, like, can't you flip the overlay? No, you can't, sadly, and you also can't force team colors anymore. The only thing that changes is, like, when you look at their vision, whether they're green or whether they're their actual color. Like, it's so annoying how these features got broken, but it's okay. Because Blizzard's still changing things, and I can't wait for the time when they release the tutorial on how to like actually customize the UI. I know Flamga's been playing around with it a lot, and it looks pretty cool. We saw it at the Blizzard launch. I think Day 9 was the one. Yeah, they were casting with the customized UI. It looked really cool. But the public, you know, it's going to be harder to get knowledge until Blizzard releases more information about it.
And hey, Rifkin, check out what Jjakji's doing. He's got Widow Mines already ready to combat Polt's Widow Mines. This,
I like this.
This is so forward-thinking.
Oh, but Polt's going in a completely different direction with it. Where did it drop?
What?
Where is that Widow Mine?
It's in between those two buildings.
Oh, there you go.
What?
That was I literally couldn't see it. I did not see it drop. I just saw the medevac empty, and I was like, where did that hit come from?
That was weird.
Not sure if on purpose, but really cool either way.
So here we go. Polt, seeing the fact that Jjakji's taking that third command center, Rifkin is responding by taking 2 more barracks in his main base. He's saying, you know what, you've gone for that 3 command center build? Well, guess what, buddy? I'm going to be coming at you with constant pressure. He's got his starport currently done, but just starting that another medevac here. Tanks are on the way, and looking back at what Jjakji's got, he's building a reactor on his factory, trying to get his bio infrastructure up. Jjakji's actually slightly supply blocked here, which is going to delay the amount of units he's going to have on the field.
It's kind of funny, this is almost similar to like a roach push, like a Zerg player would perform in this situation where you're just trying to take advantage of the fact that your opponent has no units on the field. And Jjakji, he's got enough to defend. There's no question about it, but as this game progresses, without that extra infrastructure, those 2 extra barracks are just going to pile on.
Yeah, and Polt was very, very smart here, moving this Marine down to the 3rd base to see whether or not Jjakji was going to be trying to place it down, and he will be able to block it until Jjakji moves in with something to clean that up. And now Polt, we're seeing the great benefits of not having that 3rd command center in terms of army supply up way higher than Jjakji, 40 to 33. Maybe not way higher, but still, it's a significant advantage when you consider the fact that there are no siege tanks on the field for Jjakji just yet.
Yeah, I mean, with similar worker count, despite having that earlier 3rd command center, you'd expect Jjakji to be a little further ahead, at least on that aspect. But the supply block, again, coming into play twice now.
Well, you know what he's leading in is upgrades. He's going to have +1/+1 done much quicker than Polt here. His combat shields is slightly behind though, but you know we need to mention that Polt has the stim done and he's got the medevacs in place here, while Jjakji is just about building his first 2 medevacs on the field.
These 3 Hellions getting dropped in the main, unfortunately going to get here just at the same time as the Marines pop out.
What Hellion drop? Oh.
I like this too. He also brought a Widow Mine at the 3rd base, so this will delay Polt's 3rd for quite some time, and it's also causing him to question moving forward. So this one drop, while it didn't kill anything, it kept him at bay, which I think is absolutely critical.
Yeah, and I don't really know how I feel about placing the 3rd base down at that position. Sure, it can be a decent spot. It does look like both players are preferring that, but you can, if he was, you know, trying to build that command center on low ground there, could just place it down in another position or just at the ramp too. Eventually move in and take out that Widow Mine. But all right, things are evening out relatively well here. Jjakji's +1/+1 is done, but he hasn't gotten his armory completed yet. Just now adding that on, and just now adding on siege tanks into his composition. So, going to be peculiar to see what Polt's decision here. He is making that command center in the main base. Actually going to be a little protective of his assets here and placing that Widow Mine around that command center.
This big push coming out of the middle of the map, though, this is, again, one of those situations where Polt might just be able to overpower Jjakji despite having similar forces. Because every time we see them square off Doom in this series, it's always been Polt coming out ahead. Even if it's just barely, he still comes out ahead.
I'd like to see Polt siege up behind the natural of Jjakji and try to siege both the refinery and the mineral line here. And if he moves into this position, it can be very difficult for Jjakji to actually break it, because he'll also be cutting off the only point of access here from the ground to this army, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to be met by a turret, though.
Those medevacs.
Big stim.
The most, like, I don't want to do this medevacs I've ever seen.
They are going to serve as spotters now. Going to see the fact that Jjakji is going to siege up of his own, but this is, you know, a pretty good move here from Polt to at least delay the mining. Jjakji is not aware of that Widow Mine who is awaiting him. And Jjakji's still got to drop with Hellions available to him too if you want to do that, but he's really got to focus on trying to clean this up right now.
And he just barely takes that tank fight by 1 blast. Meanwhile, both players, they can't... I don't like that Polt's using the full medevacs instead of the empty medevacs to spot... There we go. Realizing how dangerous...
A little scary for you?
Meanwhile, that drop in the natural of Jjakji did pick up quite a few SCVs. Polt were cleaning that up rather quickly, though.
Jjakji still has another drop exactly to the north outside the base here. Jjakji actually has Vikings, which are going to join the fray, so this should be able to shut down this aggression from Polt. Ooh, he's going to get that siege tank too.
Oh, just barely too. I mean, it was low, but still. The reinforcements for Polt, though, I'd like to see him almost go through these rocks and just take out this base. Does he even have knowledge of that? I mean, he said the rocks were down, but no, he doesn't actually know. Meanwhile, Tank's taking a bit of pepper here from the Marines stepping forward. Polt's Marines are not positioned to keep these tanks alive, and that could be very fatal.
Oh, he's going to come in from 2 angles here, though, but this could be the decisive decision. That
Look at the concave.
The concave is so sick, but there are still a lot of siege tanks on the high ground here. It's all going to come down to the splits of Polt. Can he split his units up and clean up the rest of the siege tanks? It does look like he's going to be two. But he is pushed back.
Meanwhile, that drop in the main with the Hellions, yeah. Lots of damage being done up here.
Oh, and now Jjakji is really so grateful that he's taken this 3rd base now. Although his economy was hindered at the natural, he has been freely mining there with the protection of that sensor tower and missile turrets. So despite losing a bunch of those units there at the ramp, he still is in the lead in terms of economy. So Jjakji's still in a decent position here, not out of this game just yet, guys.
I gotta say, like, Polt's still not knowing about this 3rd base. He's gotta be thinking, like, Jjakji's been on 2 base for so long, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, Jjakji, he's had such a big worker lead. He's had this extra base. The gas income has been heavily in his favor the entire game. And Polt, he's trying to do some damage, but Jjakji, again, he's still ahead, believe it or not.
But for how long here? +2 is going to be done for him sooner than Polt. So that is a small window that I have, but I don't feel like we're going to see another big engagement like that again for another couple minutes game, or at least these players have established their 4th bases. It'd just be too risky to do it off of 3 base versus 3 base. You're really just coming down to a coin flip and coming down to greater siege tank position, siege tank lines, blah 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 blah. But Polt is going to be getting his +3 Terran infantry upgrades quicker than Jjakji, so for the first time in this game, he will be taking an upgrade lead.
Yeah, but again, this is so hard to break, because not only do you have to worry about the tanks, as we saw that bunker, if that bunker wasn't there, Polt probably would have cleaned up all the tanks and continued pushing forward, but as weird as it is, that one bunker did a ton of damage, but drop at the 3rd base, and there's nothing here to stop it.
Really good spread. Going to be able to clean up a lot of SCVs here, and this is somewhat devastating for Polt. He really needs this 3rd base to get established without any type of kinks, and he actually has lesser Marines than Jjakji, but Jjakji's just going to pull away. In the meantime, another drop is going to the natural.
Yeah. I mean, Jjakji's doing these multi-prong hits. I feel like this is a different Jjakji than we've seen all series Doom. I mean, he's so much more aggressive. He's actually getting in here and doing damage, and 2 Marines left behind. Meanwhile, trying to push out, unfortunately walking into the siege line.
Yes, and huge battles going on right here. Polt somehow is taking a...
Did you just type Control X instead of trying out Control X? Is that what you just did?
No, I did both, but I wanted to let you know about it too. But
well, I can't,
regardless of that,
I can't flip it now. It's too late.
Another drop is going off the main base.
But the Widowmine,
trying to do everything he can to keep himself in this game. He does have that 3rd base established, though, as we mentioned before. But Polt is actually on the back foot here in this situation.
The Widowmine's about to reload and will kill off that medevac if nothing else does. But Jjakji's sending out more medevacs, more ships flying across the field, and oh gosh, this is so different than every game I think we've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that Control X just literally blew my mind. I got so excited about it, I had to type it into the game as all those crazy engagements happen. Meanwhile, Jjakji is establishing his 4th base to the eastern position on the field here, while his 3rd base has been absolutely humming with economy.
Yeah, I mean, one drop coming from the south, one drop going from the north, and oh, again, there's just not enough turrets here to stop this. We've seen Polt put down like 7 or 8 turrets in previous games, but it feels like he's completely forgotten to do that. And constant drop aggression is really hurting him.
I don't know if it's the forgetfulness more so than just the fact that he needs to keep making more and more units. That big engagement that he saw in the middle of the field where he lost a significant portion of his army has really set him back. And he is going to be able to potentially clean this drop up at in the 3rd base, but the natural is going freely here, and more SCVs are going to be dropping. Looking at the unit count system here, Jjakji has 64 SCVs to the 45 of Polt. Medevac will be targeted down. Oh no, it will not actually, and now
the turret gonna get taken out as well.
That did way more damage than it should have, though. And look at the supplies here: 126 for Polt, 167 of Jjakji. Jjakji's 4th base has been established as a planetary fortress here, and he's got a really good infrastructure in his main base. 2 factories now at the natural 2 will be able to pump out more and more tanks from that one factory in the main base, and Polt, no more infrastructure in his main base as he's being forced to add more and more units on.
I really want to comment, I don't know if you've been noticing, but there's been a lot of contention over this top right watchtowers. We've had Marine after Marine after Marine, about 8 or 9 different Marines trade for this tower at this point.
Yeah, and that natural, man, it is mined out somewhat here, and Polt's really only like significant mineral patches is this third base, and he really needs to get a fourth established, but no additional command centers on the way for him. Well, actually, he has another one floating over and a fifth one on the way. What the heck am I talking about?
I know, Polt's so far behind on the actual bases, but the army supply also definitely going to Jjakji, but everyone knows positioning in the TvT is more important than the actual army supply you have.
Will the sensor tower live, though? This could be a benefit, great benefit to Jjakji, but no, it is going to be destroyed here, so he will not know the movement of Polt's army. And here we go. This is why Polt is so good. Doing a lot with a little and taking his fourth base in the process, saying, I'm not giving up here. I want that $100 first place prize. I want to win the Zotac NA Cup.
I feel like the only reason Polt took this position on the map was so he could secure this watchtower. As Jjakji did secure the southern one now, and again, the watchtower battles have been insane this game. But no focus fire on this medevac, unfortunately. Jjakji with a huge force, and he knows Polt is still down to base. So he's got to feel really confident right now.
Definitely, and looking at the upgrades here, Jjakji's +3 just finished up too. That's going to make him even more confident going into these next engagements. As long as he recognizes that Polt's +3 is done for him. So goodness gracious, these players are out of control, Rifkin.
I gotta say, there's been more one-on-one Marine fights. I've been trying to catch them throughout the battle, but like at the third base of the watchtower in the middle of the map, there's been more one-on-one Marine fights than there have been any other aggression this entire game. But
well,
Jjakji,
that's a lot Marine to a little Marine fight there. Going on the western side of the field.
I like that Jjakji's starting to use the Vikings as well. Again, I feel like players were lacking this a little bit as he's starting to take the dominance and slowly push up this position. Meanwhile, though, yeah, Polt's saying, alright, I want this watchtower too. Points of contention more important than actual battle.
Yeah, and I think Polt is really just going to have to take another base, because how can he actually engage against this planetary fortress? Well, Jjakji actually saying,
just
I'm
going to
push to break you here, Polt. He has the upgrade advantage with that armor, and he's going to be able to push Polt back. Now, we're going to be taking this fourth. If anything, this fourth base is now going to be in great jeopardy, and Polt really has to recognize this. He needs to move his siege tanks into position, but his army is too far to the south. But Jjakji has not pushed forward yet. He has scouted out the fact that that fourth base does exist there.
He's got to be careful, though. Despite that being a great engage, Polt has replaced his units behind this, and if he goes all in for this base, he might just lose his natural. As we see Polt, oh, never mind, actually starting to head north now instead.
Adding on another command center down there, boldly in the southern position here. He is going to be forced to repair this planetary fortress here. The Marines are going to be standing up, and that is going to drop.
Yeah, okay. Planetary goes down, but Polt moving out now, and Jjakji with nothing at home but couple tanks unsieged.
He sees this with the Zeldnaga tower control, and okay, Polt, gonna run into the natural ramp, but there are tanks prepared for him.
Now, Jjakji could try and get a bit of a... He could either go for a bit of a pincer or go offensive with this, because it's the same situation where Polt's army is out of the base.
He should go offensive because he's taking his fifth base to the
I agree entirely. He needs to take that defensive position, but okay, Polt trying to make the advance forward again at the bunker here on the high ground.
Gosh. So many medevacs for Polt here. Jjakji simply doesn't have the medevac count back at home. All of his medevacs are tied up back, trying to take down Polt's third base, which now is being lifted into the main.
Those rocks might cost him the game here, though, as he's wasting a lot of time just trying to get into the base before actually doing damage.
Yeah, and now Polt is going to get on top of the infrastructure of Jjakji, moving into the main base. Now there are no tanks to deflect this. He is trying to move forward, though, with the Marines, but they're being blocked by the ones in the front. But Jjakji simply isn't going to be able to clean this up. Polt trying to hold at home, pulling SCVs, setting up his siege tanks. He needs to clean up the rest of these Marines. Oh, but so much is being destroyed here. Jjakji now has a greater army supply than Polt and a greater overall supply as well. And he does have that base to the south that is a planetary fortress here. And meanwhile,
but both players are losing their infrastructure, and everyone knows if you want to kill a Terran player, it's all about the infrastructure.
Well,
actually, you know what? Jjakji not having any Marines on the offensive and losing all the ones that are spawning at home.
Uh-oh. So now with drops being available for Polt, he can drop on top of these tanks back at home. He needs to start thinking about lifting these orbital commands up and floating them around the map, though. Everything is under assault here. Jjakji's got Polt severely on the back foot. But actually, Polt back at home is doing a really good job of cleaning up all the barracks for Jjakji. And
there's so much going on the map right now. I can't even keep up with it.
Base Trade TV. This is Heart of the Storm, man.
Absolutely perfect for what would be a final series. Now, there's no production going on, guys, so I'm going to leave the units tab on for the time being. But as we see, Jjakji's retained 42 SCVs for this. He's got that extra base we were talking about. It's a planetary. I mean, he is looking so good. Despite the fact that Polt is taking out everything in his main, Jjakji is looking really good in this particular situation.
Yeah, he's also got Vikings too.
Dude, this is not just a base trade in the effect that they're killing each other's bases, but they're moving their bases to each other's bases.
Absolutely insane. Very curious to see if this will ever stabilize out, though. But this has got to be the strangest mini-map I've ever seen. There are SCVs attacking supply depots. Widowmine still on the field here for Polt, which could do a significant amount of damage, but Polt's got command centers to the west, burning in the sky. Command centers to the north, trying to be landed with mules and picked up. But Vikings are going to be doing it. Another orbital command looks like it could be killed by this mule.
I think Jjakji's done it because he's got this. He can build another command center. He's got enough minerals. He's retained an orbital as well. Doom, I think we're going to an ace match.
Not only an orbital, he's got 2 orbitals floating around on the other side of the map here. Polt, though, is a freaking master of these situations, Rifkin, though, so let's not count him out just yet. He is going to be healing his last orbital command on the field.
Oh,
this command center to the west, though, is about to be dropping, though.
Jjakji's trying to actually build SCVs right now, but he can't. There's no supply. He's completely blocked. All the supply depots at home were destroyed. Whereas, ironically enough, Polt has got supplies to spare, but only 1 command center. And he's landing in a mined-out base.
Jjakji's going to have mining. He's going to be adding on more and more barracks. And, all right, I don't think Polt's going to give up anytime soon. I really don't.
Well, here's the thing. I think Jjakji retained a lot more infrastructure. He's got 3 CCs. Right? That's mules, that's whatever. He's got 4 barracks. He's building a hell of a lot more. And while this is kind of, you can debate about it being even for the time being, this is heavily going to go in Jjakji's favor as soon as he starts producing.
And you know why that is, too? Because he's got those Vikings, and they're going to be able to push those medevacs back to be the only spotters available for Polt. Now, if Polt wants to get super crazy, Rifkin, he could drop all of his Marines on top of tanks and see how what goes from there. But
Look at the main of Polt. This SCV's actually attack command rallied to attack every building. He's microed this SCV to kill Polt's base.
Well, eventually he will die to that Widowmine because he's rallied to go within the perimeter of it.
But not right away. He's got +3 armor, and the Widowmine doesn't one-shot him anyways.
It will be taking down a Marine in the process. Huge explosion going down there.
There's his spine hanging out.
And Jjakji, man, adding on way more infrastructure than Polt. You got to think this is just a matter of time before he just pulls through in this game. And yeah, this is still game 4, guys, so don't be going anywhere. There is potentially 1 more game left up if Jjakji's able to pull this out. But if we know Polt,
if this doesn't go to game 5, if this doesn't go to game 5 and Jjakji loses, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to call like 911 because there's no way he doesn't commit suicide off of losing this.
Well, here we
those
go.
Vikings go to work, and there's
sieging up on the infrastructure now too.
But I mean, who cares about these barracks? He can lift them and leave. He's got planetaries, he's got his own siege tanks, and Polt can't push into this. Jjakji just needs to pump out a couple units from it. He's also got factories coming down. I mean, this is nasty.
He's got to be careful not to lose these units though, because Rifkin, every single unit adds.
Yeah,
every single unit is important on the field because of the severe lack of production from both these players. Although Jjakji does have a couple of factories established in the south, he's not actually building any tanks out of them because he needs Marines to combat what Polt hasn't. Here we go, Polt is going to get on top of these factories.
We get the actual units on the field again. Jjakji's got doubled the Marine count, similar tank count. But oh, that first initial hit, SCV's now being pulled as well. But the Marines charging forward, Polt losing what little tanks he has. And Doom planetary cleaning up the Marines as they ventured a little too close to the sun. And
you gotta be thinking with no production left for Polt.
Polt can unsiege his tanks and move. That's it. He doesn't even need a siege. He doesn't even need siege mode for this at this point. Look at this. Or Jjakji, thank you. Sorry.
Yep, no problem. No problem. I did it earlier in this game too. But
oh, this has been ridiculous. Wicked done.
For Control X. Yes, here we go. Final stages of this game. Jjakji pushing forward. Got to.
Oh, the Widowmine! Oh, it gets one of the medevacs.
Takes down the 1 medevac with units in it.
That was so unlucky for Polt. But Polt, okay, he's got a little bit of production going. He has seen the full scale, though. He knows about all these bases. And this SCV's still going to town in the main. This Widowmine finally repositioning itself, actually, Polt. Actively wanting to kill it.
Boom.
But GG.
Jjakji pulling through with the victory and taking this to a best of 5. Guys, what a special treat. 606 viewers tuned in right now on Base Trade TV to watching this, and there is no better place to be for StarCraft 2 at this current moment of time in the universe.
Doom, I'm really glad I decided to say, you know, forget my family, let's watch StarCraft, because this has been insane.
In Easter. This is what I'm talking about. This is the type of stuff I love, and I love the fact that you guys are having a good time out there in the chat. See all of you hanging out on the twitch.tv channel. If you're not in there, get in there. There's like 50 people clamoring about, talking about these games.
Oh, these are live, guys.
Esports.
Look at this. This is us joining the lobby. We are here. We are live. It doesn't get more real than this. Jjakji and Polt. Amazing series so far, guys.